Well, hello. Happy Tuesday. It's Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, and welcome into the new Pat Miller Show. Now, we're not live on the air yet. In fact, we're behind the scenes, and thanks for tuning in. So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be as true to life of a real life radio show as we can be. You get to watch us, but I'm recording over here, and we'll distribute this as a podcast later. But the reason why this is like real life is I'm looking for a few callers for today's show. I have two outstanding panelists that are standing by to come on and be a part of the program, but I'm looking for two more callers. You got 5 minutes? You can hit that link on the screen and join me here on the show. I promise I won't bite. Promise. And all you got to do is call in and ask a question. Maybe there's a challenge you're facing or an opportunity you're looking to seize, or you just need a second opinion on something. That's what this show is all about. The other thing you can do is call in and just brag. We want to hear your small business celebrations on the show. That's another thing that we do here on the Pat Miller Show is we grow, fix, and celebrate small business. So if you're watching this right now on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitch or YouTube or wherever, see that link that's on the screen, hit the link that'll call you right into the show here, and we'll bring you onto the show and you can be a part of it. Either way, you and I are going to have some fun. So this is what happens behind the scenes. You get to watch it. Everybody else gets to hear it. Shall we start the show? I think we shall. Ready? Here we go.
One, two, three. Here we go.
Broadcasting from the small business capital of America. This is WIIFM Milwaukee, an Idea Coach station.
Uniting the states of small business for the nation's largest mastermind. This is the Pat Miller Show, where we help small businesses, solopreneurs, and side hustlers one by one, live without a net. I'm your host, Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, small business is lonely and hard, and together we're here to grow, fix, and celebrate your small business. And when you listen in and you join us, you're backed by the Idea Collective for small business owners. We're joining you on your small business journey. It's your dream. Don't grow it alone. Speaking of, as you watch or listen to the show, you're a part of it. We want you to listen in to the callers on today's show and share your feedbacks and your comment and your questions to today's guests. And if you think of something that I missed, which is likely, you can jump in and share your thoughts with them. And if you want to be on the show, we've got 2 slots available left today. Hit the link that's on your screen, ideacoachmedia.com/call. We'll get you right into the show and on the air so you can get a second opinion about your challenge or opportunity, or we can hear your small business celebration. So if you want to book a time, visit patmillershow.com and we can get you there too. Either way, sit back, relax, grab a beverage, and let's get going. I want to start today with an idea, a concept, my own small business celebration, if I can. 3 years ago today, I left the radio industry. On this day, the 25th of May, 2018, I left. And after 22 years of being in broadcast radio, I was convinced that I was going to be a radio broadcaster and go all the way to Chicago. That was my dream market. I just wanted to be on the air. And then I got this entrepreneurship bug. And 3 years ago today, I left the radio industry to go out and help small businesses. And I'll tell you what, I love every second of it because I help people just like you take an idea that they have and take it as far as it can possibly go. That means we got to navigate around challenges and we got to come up with solutions to problems, and we have to collaborate with others and find ways to get stuff done. And it's just a giant puzzle, and it's so much fun. And if you're sitting here right now listening to the show, maybe you've got a corporate gig or you're working for somebody else, and you're like, I really would like to go out and do my own thing. Do it. You know why? Life is too short. And I'll tell you how I left my job. My job was being a marketing guy for a couple of radio stations in Milwaukee. And I thought to myself, you know what? Companies are going to need a marketing guy. I can go find a gig. So I decided to jump, and I decided to start my own business. That was 3 years ago today. So believe in yourself, be positive, think big, and take on the world, because it is so satisfying when you do it on your own. So a big thanks to my wife, Abby Miller, and the Idea Collective collaboration community for their backing. They are the ones that keep me going. And this show also keeps me going because I get to help small business owners every single day. So let's welcome to the show our first guest. Kevin Baker is on the air. Kevin, it's great to see you, my friend. Tell everyone who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Hi, Pat. My name is Kevin Baker. I'm the owner of Fitness Together. We do one-on-one personal training and studios in Brookfield and Wauwatosa, and also through online virtual training. All of it's led by certified personal trainers.
Very cool. So what's going on with you today? How can we help?
All right, so there's a specific area I want input on today. It's related to marketing, so good kind of build up to that. Thank you. More specifically, post-COVID marketing. So my traditional market is still yielding leads, but they're usually from an older demographic, and they're a little bit slower to return to our normal activities, especially in a fitness setting. So my question is related to this new emerging market of those who may have worked out before and they don't want to go back to the traditional gym, or who have been impacted by weight gain and overall fitness level loss, regardless of their workout past. So do I need to go with a full out marketing analysis and, the rigmarole to get this big, huge, overview of what the new market looks like? Or is there some type of soft probing I can use to feel out this untapped market and start capturing audience with a new campaign?
Well, let's look at the resources we have. Do you have a big pile of money to go do a market analysis?
If I did, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly. So I think we answered our own question about whether or not we're going to do a big fat marketing analysis, but maybe the way you find the answer is to do some test marketing. And you've got a really great product for everyone right now because, well, I don't know about you, but the COVID-19 got me, that's for sure. And not literally, but the poundage at least. And I think it's very insightful to think that people don't want to go back to a big group of sweaty people. This is more clean and more small group. So it sounds like you would be onto something there. Have you tested this message at all with anyone in this emerging market?
We have some testing in our traditional platforms, so mostly social media like Facebook or Instagram along those lines. And there is some limited interest. I just don't think we quite have the messaging down yet to get it quick enough where they're looking at it.
So what does success look like? I mean, how many people would you have to add for this to be even worth your time? It's not very many because you're a premium exercise product, right?
Correct. Yeah. So if I could get 3 to 5 per studio, or if I get all those online, either way, it's definitely worthwhile for me.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be interesting just to get some people in the door, because if people come in and see what this premium exercise experience is like and how it's different from the big sweaty group classes, that might be the way to go about it. So how could you get people in the studio for a free trial? Because isn't that one of the ways that you close a lot of your folks? They come in for the free session?
Definitely. Yeah. So we do offer the complimentary assessment and evaluation up front, gets them in the door, lets them have a little mini workout so they can hopefully walk away sore and realize that it's something that's worth their time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's something to do with social distancing or a play on the words with social distancing that you could use to play on how different your experience is, because it's instructor led. So you're going to get expert help. Maybe you could play on the idea that it took a year to put it on, take it off in 90 days. Or something like that, because we all live that 12-month weight game. But maybe there's a way that we could reframe what success looks like to help people get back to their old normal, and maybe play on the phrase like that. Like, what we'd all know what that number was and how much we've gained since COVID started. So get back to the old normal. It took a year to put it on. It takes 90 days to take it back off. Come work with us. And then I think we do need that traffic driver to get this new audience. So let's talk about what that new audience is. Who are these folks that you're talking to that you think might be an undiscovered, untapped market for Fitness Together?
Well, honestly, I think it's the Pat Millers of the world, right? You're an old CrossFitter. You still going to CrossFit, Pat?
Oh, no, I'm not going to CrossFit. My shoulder won't let me go to CrossFit anymore.
Exactly. It's those who just can't get back to the gym or they just don't want to. So, like I said, my age normally trends older for my clients, but I think it's a younger audience now, and probably more so in the family setting, the individuals that don't want to put the loved ones at risk from what they see to be a selfish act of getting back in shape themselves, which unfortunately, I think that's not really the right way to look at it, but I understand why they're coming from that position. So my audience really is going to be male and females from a full house of 2 to 3 kids, and they're really going to be looking at Yeah, as we said, the weight gain, the loss of muscle tone, so they're feeling the impacts of it, but they're ready to get active again, and they're just not quite. They don't have the energy, or they don't have the drive yet to get back into their own fitness routine.
All right. So one thing I'm thinking here, if you're talking about perhaps younger married couples, couples with kids, couples with families, you need to reframe the idea that exercise is not a selfish act. And maybe the way that you play on COVID is to reposition the idea of getting out, and you plan a series of evening events called Couples Work Out. And you make it look like it's a date night, but you and your spouse come to fitness together, and exercise is a free test night. But you play on all the language that you would if you were a bar or a restaurant. Cooped up in the house, ready to get out and get active again, join us for a special couples-only couples workout Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. You give them a glass of wine when they're done or whatever it might be, but you try and make it like a date night. Right? It's a date night to get your heart rate up or something like that, that you kind of position it in a way that we've been cooped up. Now we can get out of the house, and you really push that to that younger demographic, because I'll tell you, anyone that's willing to let me get out of the house right now, I'm interested. Even if it was to go work out, I think I might come do it.
We could keep that shoulder under good care.
Oh, no. Listen,
I'm not trying to say it. No, I think you're right on this stuff. I like that. And we do the same kind of approach with our married couples. So, we have that opportunity, or our engaged couples, we have that opportunity to kind of play upon that and give them, something bigger than just themselves. It can be about themselves and their loved ones, as well as it can be about then branching out into making it, a healthier outcome for the family, because they're in a better mood and they're starting to see, better results all around.
Yeah, maybe you could spike the football on this one by partnering with a restaurant. So can you partner with a restaurant that has maybe patio seating? So come over, work out, and then go to this restaurant with a reserved table out in the patio and eat something healthy. That way you could stand up and say, we're not only getting you out of the house, we're supporting this local restaurant. It would have a very thematic tie to what you're doing. Either way, thinking about the way that the pandemic affected everybody, not only from a weight gain, but all the things that we've been missing, I think that might have some legs. Kevin, thanks for calling in on the show today. I appreciate it. It's great to see you, my friend. And we've got one slot left on the show today. If you want to come on the Pat Miller Show, get a second opinion on what you're up to. Maybe seize an opportunity that's in front of you. Or you've got a small business celebration. Those are my favorite. When people call in and say, oh my gosh, something great happened. We all get to cheer for you. And then we ask you how you did it to see if we can learn anything. So ideacoachmedia.com/call is the line. Hit it and we'll have you on the air. Next up on the show, Elisa Ruhr. Elisa, great to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming in today. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Nice to talk to you, Pat. I own a law firm which specializes in the area of business law, people that are starting a new business or they're buying or selling an existing business. And then I help them with everything that goes with that from day one forward, with all their contracts, their employees, anything that arises in the business.
That sounds great. So it's great to hear about the business. Are you, just before you ask your question, are you busy right now? Are you having a lot of people trying to start up something new? Is that hot at the moment?
The last 12 months, I'm not even going to go into the numbers, but the number of people that had lost their jobs that are using 401k money and pension money to start their own business is huge. Also, people buying and selling businesses has really taken off.
That's terrific to hear. Okay, so things are going great. So what's your question today?
My question is, how do we get across to people the value of having an attorney to help you with that process and things like contracts? Everyone goes onto Google, everyone can pull up templates. And the problem is that people come to us, we explain what we can do, and then, well, I can pull this off of the internet or whatever. And we had a bad experience last week with someone who had come to me about 2 years ago. I had told her what she needed to have in her documents. And long story short, my firm partner litigates. She owes $475,000 to someone because she pulled something off Google and didn't utilize my documents. And I feel sick about it. I'm sick about, it would have cost her, I'm going to tell you, $750 2 years ago. And it's costing her, she's going to have to figure out how to pay $475,000 to another party. And I'm sick because I feel like I failed by not getting across to her my value versus what you can pull off the internet.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you need to reestablish your value with potential clients so they don't try and figure it out themselves. from what they can find online. That's really what the challenge is. And are you looking for maybe a positioning statement or a tagline or some sort of campaign to get people's attention? Does that sound right?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, the first thing that comes to me is, okay, what other activity are people using online resources for that would be dangerous? And the first thing that comes to mind to me is WebMD, right?
Yes.
If your heart was hurting or your blood pressure was spiking or you couldn't feel your left arm, you wouldn't go to WebMD and hope to figure it out. You would want to go see a doctor because it's important. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me, especially when it comes to the law, because if you are trying to figure it out and you go online and find some legal contract that's valid in California, it might not even stand up in Wisconsin. What's the point? So to me, that's what comes to mind. And to go one step further, as far as a campaign is concerned, what I think you might be able to do is to say, the name of the practice is called Practice LLC, right?
Correct.
So I think maybe you could run with a campaign that says something like, don't download the law. Because that kind of concept can really drive home the idea of don't do it yourself. Don't download the law. Something like that.
Okay. That's very good.
Does that make sense?
Yes. That's so specific and it's so clear for people.
I hope that would connect with them. And then I would put inside my email communications and I'd put inside my social media. You don't want to scare people to death, but you do want to show them what happens if you practice the law on your own. Don't practice the law on your own, right? And use practice the way that you spell it. Because you could show what happens if you do it yourself. People lose their business, people get sued, people are liable for things they didn't know that they should have been doing. And you're just demonstrating when you do it yourself, bad things happen. And I don't know if that's too simplistic or too easy, but to me, that's the first thing that came to mind is the seriousness of diagnosing your own medical condition.
That's on point.
On point. Well,
That's
excellent.
brilliant.
So how can we make that message come to life? What are you doing right now? Are you doing email blasts? Are you doing videos? Are you doing blogs? How are you telling your story?
I'm so honest. We don't. Right now, mostly we get it's from referral basis, from networking groups, and from people that have used us before and then they refer us around. But we need to do some sort of marketing campaign.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, what are you most comfortable with? Are you comfortable talking on a podcast? Are you comfortable writing? I would imagine being a lawyer, you like to write, or doing video. What feels natural to you?
I like doing podcasts. I like writing.
Okay. That's good. Well, I would definitely find some way in a written word, because it's probably very natural for you to tell these stories of how people took the law into their own hands. And don't download the law. Another comment in the chat here, and this is one of the great ways that the listeners can support one another. Tom Mitt is in the chat. So Tom, high five for this. The law is not DIY, or don't DIY the law. I think either one of those would be a nice addition or even a main campaign that you might be able to use.
That's very helpful.
So last thing, just to bring this all home then, all you got to do is, now we're going to mix and match, right? You need to go find 5 or 10 examples of how people took the law into their own hands, and then put those into very easy to digest stories. Create a blog series for the website. I think that would be important. And then I would break those down as well into individual elevator speeches. So when you're out there networking, you've got an initial story to say, hey, I'm Elisa Ruhr from Practice LLC. And I got to tell you a story about this gal that did the thing, and don't download the law. Call us. We'll take care of you, et cetera, et cetera. Either way, I hope that gets to the heart of your question. Elisa, thank you so much for calling in today. We appreciate it. All right, we've got Eric and Adam standing by, which is fantastic. We're going to check in with both of them and see how we might be able to help them or celebrate with them on their small business journey. I'm Pat Miller. This is The Pat Miller Show. We'll be back after this. We just took a commercial break. That's pretty cool, right? All right, cool. So we're going to come back here. Eric and Adam, you guys are the best. So Adam, stand by. We're going to come to Eric here in just 1 second. This is all behind the scenes. And high five to Tom Mitt. That was some genius stuff right there. All right, let's go back. Welcome back to the Pat Miller Show. I am Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. This is where we grow, fix, and celebrate small business. Thank you for tuning in today. And if you are a part of the show, we would love to hear from you in the chat. We'd also love to see you on the show. Reserve your time to come in and get some second opinions or great big ideas for your small business. Log in at patmillershow.com. We'll schedule a time for you to be on the air. Up next today, Eric Clark is on the show. Eric, great to see you. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me, Pat. I appreciate it. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, you sound great. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So I do have a small celebration. One of my businesses or entities or whatever you want to call them received or was awarded a $10,000 grant from the Wisconsin Economic Development Center. So that was like super duper exciting.
Whoa.
So that was big news. And
I think we lost you, Eric. Eric, are you there? I think we did. Okay. We'll bring Eric back on if he can. See, this is live radio. Isn't this great? This is lovely. Eric, are you there? Okay, we're going to have him on here. I can't hear you now. I can see you, but I can't hear you. So turn the camera off and let's see if we can hear the audio. No, I can't hear you, bud. Yep, click the gear icon beneath the screen and then you can change your audio inputs. All right, so those of you that are hate watching the show because you're pointing and laughing at me because you think I'm an idiot, I hope you're enjoying this part because this is how live radio works. We'll edit it up for post so everybody else will get a chance to hear the good version. But this is how it goes. All right, so we're going to put you on hold. Eric, we'll try and come back to you here in just a minute, okay? All right, Adam, we're going to come to you in just 1 second, but I'm going to come back out of the commercial here real quick. So let's do this. Here we go. Welcome back to the Pat Miller Show. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. On this show, we grow, fix, and celebrate with you on your small business. Running a small business can be lonely and hard, but we're here for you to be your collaborators and your companions on your journey. If you want to be on the show, it's easy. Hit patmillershow.com and pick the day and time that works for you. Up next on the show, Adam Morris is joining us. Adam, thank you so much for calling in today, my friend. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Hi, Pat. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me again. My name is Adam Morris. I am an independent insurance broker here in Racine, Wisconsin. Actually, your last guest, Elisa, last year in March, helped me set up my incorporation. I was referred to her from my previous boss, so she's definitely the real deal, and I can say that about her for sure.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, it is. And I wanted to call in today because you and I had a brief one-on-one conversation last week. Thank you again for that. And I kind of took notes on your conversation. I put it all to use. And last week, when I was calling out lenders to try and build the referral network and stuff, it was less hey, do you have anybody I can quote for insurance kind of thing? But, first in our conversation was, well, what can I do for you? How can I help you? And two of the lenders I actually spoke with, they were like, well, this person, she's not able to get a good rate on her insurance. Can I give you her name? Called her. And by the end of that day, I had business closed and I had her all the stuff. And it was just, it was definitely a win. It was one of those things that made me feel good. I took action, got a good result from it. And mainly just because I listened to somebody smarter than me.
Well, it sounds like showing up in the right way and offering to help absolutely works. So you showed up. How can I help you? Got referrals and closed business out of it. 1, 2, 3. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah. It seems so terrifying for some reason. I don't know. Starting out, this whole thing and with COVID the last year, not being able to walk into people's businesses with a smile and say hi. Everything is so digital now. I feel like it takes a lot of the personality out of the relationship building, which is good and bad, I guess, in a lot of different ways. But that's one thing that I felt like I was struggling with the most is just trying to be personable in a digital space and changing my mindset. What can you do for me versus what can I do for you definitely seemed to yield better results almost immediately.
Well, 2 thoughts on that. First of all, I think as we've been digital, it's been a lot easier for people without that mindset to show up at scale. Like we've all received 1,000 LinkedIn messages from robots trying to get our business, and it's a total turnoff. And people are very sensitive right now to how people are showing up. So I think in this digital first environment, showing up with that authenticity and being as real as you can, I do just want to help you. How can I help you? Please give me something I can do, because what I believe in, first of all, it's the right way to show up and good things happen like you experienced. But the second thing is when you ask someone, how can I help you? Even if it's not related to what you sell and you actually do, you've got the first token in the bank. They now know that you're someone they can trust. You're someone that they can count on, which is great. So the question back to you is, now that you've seen how good that can be, how can we get that to scale? How can we pour gas on the idea? Are you maybe working in a practice of X calls per day or a new way of reaching out to people? What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, so I am X calls per day. I'm doing a minimum 5 calls per day. I can't go home until I at least call and try and reach out to 5 people,
Okay.
5 lenders, realtors, anything like that. Anybody I can try and build a referral network with. So that is one of the things. And then as I got off the phone with that lender that had referred me the business, it was, hey, you see what I can do for you. If there's anybody else that I might be able to help, give them my information. Don't keep me a secret. Let them know I can help them, just like how I helped you today. And it seemed like when we hung up, then she seemed like she was in a positive energy about this relationship that we were building. I certainly was. So just really trying to keep that, pep myself up a couple seconds before I make the phone calls, just so I have a smile and sound confident. And it seems to be working. I'm excited about it.
You're right on. Having that energy, having that smile, standing instead of sitting, that's a big help too. The other way that you can show up at scale with that same authenticity is to be a good audience, is to hop onto LinkedIn and hop on Facebook and just cheer people on. See what they're doing. I see what you're doing. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. That's it. No ask, not even how can I help you, just yay you. Because 99% of the people posting on social media are desperate for anyone to recognize that they did good. And if you show up as a good audience, that's going to be a good start for you to start earning that relationship. Well, that makes me so happy. Congratulations. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to do 5 a day. Keep on doing this, keep on closing business, and will you call back in a month or two and share your success?
Absolutely, I'd love to.
That'd be great. All right, Adam, thanks for calling in today. I appreciate it. Congratulations on the success. And it is a great reminder of what it means to show up in the right way and be authentic. Awesome news. Awesome. All right, last caller for today's show is Eric Clark. Eric, thanks for coming on the show. For the benefit of everybody, tell us who you are, what you do, and how we can help you today.
Hey, thanks. So I'm Eric Clark. I do micro content marketing for X Influence, and hopefully you can hear me this time.
Yeah, you sound great. How can we help you?
So one of the questions I have, I met with someone 2 weeks ago for coffee, which, by the way, was awesome to be in person. And in talking with that person, they had some really introspective ideas for some of the things that I have going on. As you might be aware, I have a number of things that I'm working on at any given point in time. And I'm looking at trying to distill all of that and continue to tighten it up and bring it all under kind of one track. One of the ideas that was floated was, you're already doing a podcast in the outdoors, you have an outdoor lifestyle apparel brand, and you have an application, which is the exciting news that I shared a moment ago. And so with all of that, I have the micro content marketing agency, and they were saying, well, why don't you aim that at the outdoor space? And with the micro content stuff, the focus has really been on personal branding by and large. And so I was trying to think about, what can I do for the outdoor space? What's really relevant there? And I realized there's stories are a big deal there. And so there's a number of major brands that have podcasts and webinars and things of that nature, where they're talking to experts that either hunt elk or waterfowl or turkey or deer or what have you, or bear, etc. So I started to look at who are the primary players with a lot of content. And by and large, very few, if at all, any of them are doing micro content marketing. They might be smaller clips, like 1 minute to 3 minutes, but nothing short, nothing very short. And because these major brands do a lot out in the field, there's a lot of footage to work with too for overlays and things of that nature. So I'm just trying to sharpen my pencil on how I can go to market to them and what might make sense. from my understanding, the price point of what they're willing to accept is a little bit lower. And I've struggled with that product market fit in the business community too. So I'm not sure that I want to make some big full-on leap, but I kind of want to see if I can experiment and play some small bets there. I was curious of some ways to maybe try to tackle that.
So let's use an example so everyone's on the same page. So you're in the outdoor space, you're wondering how micro content might be effective for that industry or that field, and maybe a gun sight or a type of a bow or a certain arrow, like a product is what you're talking about. A product would have micro content marketing to help tell their story. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep. I'm thinking like Yeti coolers, the Meat Eater, which is on Netflix. Actually tried to pitch them. I went for one of the biggest brands out of the gate, of course.
Sure.
And working backwards from there. So, started to try to make some micro content. And my thought is if I do at least one a week that's maintainable, I can pitch that to them, say, here, if you want this, we can talk. So far, 1 week in, one pitched, no response.
Well, I'm sure you can tell by looking at me. I'm a rugged outdoorsman, so I'm an expert in this. I'm kidding. I'm not at all. But as I understand it, if you were a certain type of gun sight or a bow or some new fishing lure, stories matter. Like that's a great way to get people to try the product is to hear from other people that are using the product. So that would be effective. So what I'm thinking is turn the camera lens around and don't tell the story that the company has to say. Create a series of content of fans in the field or field fiction or field stories and make it sponsored micro content by the company. So that way, if you're the gun site, you're out there trying to tell the stories of the hunters that use the site. And because as you know, and you've got an entire show and brand built around it, which is let's hear your hunting stories. Let's hear, what it's like to go out in the field and be the okayest hunter, which is one of your brands. I think that might be a way that you could go to them and say, we're going to help make your brand come to life by hearing about all the people that are using your product.
That is a really, really good idea. And that's easy to find. I could probably drum up all of the users of certain products through hashtag searching on Instagram and such. So that's a great perspective that I could pull on that thread for a little while and see what happens.
It would be relatively cheap on the price point too, because if someone can get on a Zoom call and tell you the story, send you a few pictures of the buck that they snagged, whatever it might be, all of that could be slid together in a nice little piece of micro content marketing, and you won't have to leave the office. You wouldn't have to go out and shoot. You wouldn't have to do anything fancy. You could do it all on your desktop. Costs would be low, and you're then showing off the customers, which is that way to generate those first-person stories that the big-time brands probably don't have time. They would all love it, but they're not doing it right now as much as they could be.
That's a good point. That's super helpful, Pat, and very practical, which is what I expect when I talk to you. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Helpful and practical, check and check. I will take that. Eric Clark, thanks for calling in today, and best of luck to you and your fans in the field or something fun like that. There's a lot of F's. There's F's that I can't say on the air, but you could come up with some fun F-bombs, maybe F-bombs, maybe something like that. Either way, good luck, and I'm sure he'll make something great out of it. All right, so today we're wrapping up the Pat Miller Show, and by my count, we helped 4 small business owners on this show, and thank you so much for calling in and for tuning in. And what we're doing right now, this is all still in beta. We're looking for your feedback. How can we make this show great? How can we help more small business owners? And how can we really put our arms around the small business community so they feel that companionship while they're doing what they're doing? It's your dream. Don't grow it alone. And if you love this feel and you want to have this type of community around you every day, consider the Idea Collection collaboration community for small business owners. That's where we collaborate in real time to get you answers, encouragement, and connections you need to help grow your business. It's like your own personal board of small business directors. If you want more information, hit up my website, patmillerideacoach.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, here to help you on your small business journey. We'll see you next time. Okay, so we did it. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. Eric Clark, you're the man for saving us. We needed an extra guest. Same with Adam. Thank you both for coming on. So we do this every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And if you want to be on the show, let me get the link back up here on the chat. There it is, ideacoachmedia.com/call. Reserve your time and we can do some free laser coaching on the air, or we can celebrate your big win Either way, we'd love to hear you on the show, and we're going to see how far we can take this thing. So thank you to Kevin, Elisa, and Adam, and Eric for coming on. I'm Pat Miller.